Well, welcome to Lucore Automotive. I want to give you guys a preface here before we start this video. There's a lot of work involved in this video. If you're not specifically here to watch the process of doing a lot of work on a C6 Z06 Corvette, stop watching now. We appreciate you clicking on it. Might as well click on like, but you're not going to enjoy this video. If you are here for this and you want to see the involved process and all of the incredible headaches we ran into, this is part one, and it's more than 20 minutes long at largely fast-forwarded speed. So thanks for clicking. Hope you keep on watching. Now on to the video.
So today we're working on the torque tube and a new clutch in Matt's 2009 Z06 Corvette. So we did a teardown on this Z06, and it came in at his last track day last season. He had some clutch problems and a little bit of noise out of the back of his chassis. So we brought it into the shop and we verified that it needs rear wheel bearings, and the rear bearing in the torque tube was starting to make noise as well. So we tore it down. We're going to put a new twin disc clutch in it with an aluminum flywheel from Katech, and we're going to rebuild his torque tube. We are going to put a new input shaft on it because the original throwout bearing on the flywheel was binding and it actually wore a groove into our input shaft. So new input shaft bearing, new output shaft bearings, and we're going to go ahead and replace the guibos while we have this apart. I'm going to go ahead and put my new Katech aluminum flywheel on a hot plate to warm it up because it needs to be 200 degrees when I go to install it. So I'm going to get that warming up on the plate while I rebuild this guy, and then we'll pull off the factory flywheel and start switching parts out, start putting this thing back together so I can have it much less scattered across my garage by the end of the day. So feel free to watch, enjoy, click like, subscribe to our channel. We do all sorts of different stuff. And this is just another day in our shop in Central Ohio. So the new Guibos have arrows on them. So when you install your bolts want to go in following your arrow to your component. Not sure why they have arrows, but they specifically talk about that in the directions to make sure you do that. And then you put Loctite on your bolts and torque them down to 66 foot-pounds. As you can see, I use heat to release the Loctite so that I can get these apart. And then I clean off the threads, apply new thread lock, and then reinstall them and torque them to 66 foot-pounds. That side's done. Getting ready to finish putting together the hub side at the transmission, and we'll be ready to put this thing back together. Now that all that's done, we have our two new bearings in our rear housing, our new drive flange. Our bolts are torqued to 66 foot-pounds with Loctite on them. Our input shaft is brand new with a new input shaft bearing and a slinger. So all my lock rings are back in place. It's time to put the drive shaft back into the torque tube, which isn't really a big deal. It just slides in, and then a snap ring goes in to retain it. And there's all sorts of jokes I can make about different things, but I'm going to refrain. It's not quite there. That sounds like it's there. Now we're there. The tone changes when it bottoms. Drives nice. So this snap ring actually has a flat side and a curved side, and the curved side goes to the out to make sure it pushes that housing in. I'll make sure you put that on correctly. And this thing was a bear to get off. And I'm going to guess it's not going to be fun to put back on. Ooh. Boy, I got lucky. Awesome. So new flex plate bolts. Sorry. New pressure plate bolts. A remote clutch bleeder kit. That'll be nice. Because these are not easy to get to in the car. And a new slave cylinder. Very cool. Put that guy on. Oh, gotcha. I win. I win. All for that guy. So I got my pilot bearing out of the crankshaft. I am currently warming up my brand new Katech flywheel. And once it's reached 200 degrees, I will install it with new GM bolts. They do not recommend ARP bolts because they are too tall and they will interfere with the new clutch. We are installing a twin disc clutch, so should be pretty good holding power for what we're doing. Be a nice track setup. Check my fitment on my slave cylinder and it's good. So once I get my new flywheel installed, get my clutch installed and torqued, I'll be ready to put my bell housing and torque tube back on the car, and I can start getting this bad boy put back together. I got a lot of stuff apart on this car. It's all in good fun. So the 7-liter flywheel bolt torque is 22 foot-pounds on the first pass and 40 degrees on your second pass. Gotta love torque to yield bolts. So 22 foot-pounds for my flywheel to crankshaft bolts on the first pass, 40 degrees on my second pass. Now it's time to put my clutch and pressure plate on and torque those to spec. I need to put in my pilot bearing before I do this. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Where's my new pilot bearing? Oh, it's much better. it's heavy. So this is a twin clutch setup. The one is already installed in the clutch disc. Come on. Now we go on the flywheel. And I do have alignment pins. Oh, these long tube headers are not fun to work around. Nice. Need some bolts. I can pretty much guarantee the next one of these I do, the engine, the front suspension, and everything is coming out of the car. If you're wondering what Junior's been hammering on the entire time I've been filming this video, in the rust belt we have to change hubs on full-size trucks because they inadvertently kick the ABS on. The sensor gets rust under it, which makes too much of an air gap, and it kills the sensor. Oh well. It's funny. I can't feel my arm.
Help?
There's no room.
Hold this, move that.
The new pressure plate's twice as thick as the old one. I don't think I can get it back together. I'm probably gonna have to pull the engine out just to get the fell out of it. Look at how tight it is. I gotta get this over that.
It's a big pressure plate.
It's a huge pressure plate. It's got 2 discs in it.
We definitely upgraded that.
Oh. La 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 la. Get a picture. La 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 la. There's no room for me to work. Should have dropped the whole thing out of the car.
Is there a way to pull that header from the top?
Not without dropping something.
It won't just like walk up out of your
No, it won't walk up out of there. I mean, I could pull... If I pull the alternator and the alternator bracket off, I think it might come out. This is frustrating. Well, yesterday, I mean, I got a torque tube all redone yesterday, and that was good.
All right.
And then I had to tow a car in, and then I had to tow another car in and move cars around and go take care of my kiddos. So I was hoping to be this far yesterday, but
then you're only a day behind.
yeah, I'm only a day behind.
That's for you. That's really good.
I mean, that's not bad. Normally I sit around and don't do anything. At least that's what people think.
Yeah, there's really not a lot of room.
I think I'm gonna have to drop the engine out to give, or at least drop it down.
How much of a pain in the ass is it to drop the frame?
It's almost out now. I mean, I have the subframe loose, and the rear bolts are completely out of it, and the front bolts are just there. The problem is the engine. I can't tilt the engine because the engine hits the firewall, so the engine has to come straight down out of the chassis.
What do you have to lower the engine with?
Nothing at the moment. I'm gonna have to build something. I have nothing. I have nothing to do that with right now. I might be able to sneak it down enough to
to get you enough.
just to get me enough.
Do you have enough wiring and all that stuff?
It's pretty tight.
Yeah. Last thing we want to do is ruin something else.
It's tight. I am definitely going to drop the entire drivetrain out of the
This is a problem.
Yeah, there's like an inch in there. I mean, it's tight. And they didn't say anything in the Katech directions to remove engine to install clutch.
What if we just cut this off?
Yeah, just cut the header off. It wouldn't be as bad if the long tubes weren't in here. It wouldn't be as bad. But I still don't know that I can get over the flex plate to get the bell housing on without dropping the engine straight down about 4 inches. I just need an extra 4 inches.
Life is a game of inches.
Life is a game of inches.
4 inches is a lot of inches, though.
4 inches is a lot. Should have dropped the whole thing down and then separated it. It would have been easier. That's all right. We'll figure it out.
We'll fix it in post.
Fix that in post.
Well, there you go. That was part one of our adventures in C6 Z06 clutch land. Now, some of this problem is because of the long tube header setup, but generally speaking, this is a massive undertaking. One of the reasons a lot of shops refuse to do aftermarket work is because it's very hard to estimate labor time. When you look something up on our computer and it says, X amount of time for a clutch replacement, that's for doing a clutch with a stock OEM clutch. And that's going to give you kind of a ballpark number. Whenever you're replacing things and upgrading things, that can throw a pretty big wrench in the works. And we have just touched the tip of the wrenches that are in the works on this project. So hopefully you have enjoyed this so far. We know there's a ton of work involved in this, and a lot of it's real dry just watching us work, or watching Rich work. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hopefully it's been educational. If you have any questions or anything up to this point in time, please go ahead and give us a comment. There is going to be a part 2 to this video coming very shortly. We just wanted to split it up a little bit so that it wasn't just a whole ton of video of us being frustrated and working. So again, we thank you very much for watching. As always, thank you for being here. Please do click on that subscribe button, click on the like button, drop us a comment in the comment section below if you think we're idiots, or if there's anything you'd like us to see do in the future. If you're interested in what we're doing, if you need work done on your Corvette, we're certainly capable of doing that. There are really big headaches soon to come on this part 2 and maybe even part 3, depends on how long the video takes. Clearly this footage was from a while ago because you could tell my hair is considerably longer than it was in the filming of this. So anyway, we'll see you next time. Take care.